Hi guys, today's we're gonna cover the basic of trigonometry. For this basic trigonometry, we only deal with right angle. Okay, there's nothing that's not right angle at this point, because if it is not a right angle, there we're talking about laws of sines and law of cosines. There are the total of 6 trig ratios that's involved, but for the textbook, we only deal with 3. Okay, I need for you guys to be familiar with this acronym. Okay, SOHCAHTOA. Okay, what SOHCAHTOA representing is for SO. Oh, hold on. It is sine. Okay, for ka, that is cosine. For TOA, it is tangent. Okay. For sine, it is so is opposite over the adjacent. For cosine, it is adjacent. Oh, sorry, hold on. It's not over adjacent, it is the hypotenuse. Okay, and for cosine, it is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And tangent, it is opposite over the adjacent. Okay, what does that mean? It means that in a triangle, let's say triangle A, B, and C. Okay, we're dealing with 90-degree angles. Okay, let's talk about which angle we're talking about. Let's take the examples as angle B. Okay, we deal with angle B at this point, nothing else. If I'm talking about angle B, the adjacent side of angle B is right here. Let me change the color. Okay, meaning it's next to. Okay, the opposite is the opposite side. Okay, of that angle. Hypotenuse, always opposite from the right angle. Opposite from the 90-degree. Okay, let's take hold on. If I talk about angle A, then the adjacent will be the one next to angle A. Okay, let's take this example of guided one. The guided one asks you to find the sine of angle E. Okay, sine of angle E, this is what they ask you to find. Okay, for this problem, they ask you to find the cosine of angle E. Okay, and then they ask you for sine of angle E. And then they ask you for tangent of angle E. I know that I need to be familiar with this acronym. Okay, for sine, it is opposite over the hypotenuse. Okay, opposite as of opposite from angle E, which is opposite, which is 9, over the hypotenuse, which is 15. Okay, I always simplify the ratio is 3/5. Okay, that is sine E. And if I'm looking at cosine, it's going to be adjacent over the hypotenuse. Okay, adjacent as of next to, that's going to be 12 over 15. It is a divisible by 3, so it's going to be 4 over 5. Okay, as far as tangent, it's going to be opposite over the adjacent. This is the adjacent. This is the opposite. Okay, so it's going to be 9 over 12. It is a divisible by 3 again, so it's 3/4. Okay, let me see. Okay, cool. For this question, that just asks you to evaluate each expression. Make sure on your calculator you are looking at the degree. Okay, either you have a DEG or D. Make sure it is a degree on your calculator. It is straightforward. You just type in either cosine or sine. In this case, sine 80, or some calculation later you have to do 80 first and then sine. Okay, I should have. Did it ask me to round anything? I'm going to round to the nearest thousands, so it's going to give me to be 0.985. Okay, as far as tangent 45, it will be a 1. Okay, for cosine 15, you should have cosine and then 15 degrees, or 15 and then cosine. You should have 0.966. And then for sine 9, that should give you 0.156. And here's the questions. You are going to see this later. Is this the same? The answer is yes, because it is the isosceles, right triangle. Okay, and so if it's the isosceles, meaning the legs are the same, both legs are the same, are congruent. Okay, and then they should have the same length. You are going to see a proof later when we're talking about unit circle, or later in geometry, that they are exactly the same. Okay, for these questions, they ask you to find what are the hypotenuse. The first thing you need to look at is which angle are we talking about. We're talking about this angle, meanings this is the adjacent side. That is my hypotenuse. Okay, so that's what you need to be able to identify. Okay, so I should have anything that's over. Okay, I need to always remember that the ka is the one that's adjacent and the hypotenuse. So I'm going to have cosine 35 degrees equals to 1.575 over x. Okay, now you're always going to do the inverse operation. I want to solve for x, so I want to move x to the other side. Okay, so I should have x cosine 35 degrees. Cosine 35 degrees is an actual value. Okay, so you don't have to evaluate ahead of time. You can wait until the very end. But for those of you who are confused about cosine, you can certainly do the calculation first. Cosine of 35 should give me 0.819. So you should have 1.575 divided by 0.8192. Okay, so therefore x should be 1.575 divided by, so that should give me 1.9. They asked me to round to the nearest tenth, so it's 1.9. Okay, this question asks you, in a right triangle, the side opposite of angle A is 8, and the hypotenuse is 12, okay? The questions ask you to find the angle or the measure A, okay? On your calculator, in order for you to find the angle, okay, it has to be either second, and then that COS, CSI, or TAG, or shift. Okay, so you should find is under shift or second. Okay, it is the opposite of angle 8 is 8, and the hypotenuse is 12. And then they ask you, what is this angle right here? Okay, so I need to look at the opposite, and then hypotenuse. Okay, opposite over hypotenuse is sine. So what you're gonna write is sine. Let me change the color so it's better. Sine of a certain angle, angle A, should be opposite over the hypotenuse. Okay, you should have 8 over 12. Okay, and then you are going to write the measurement of angle A should be on your calculator. You should see this. What you need to be doing is take the inverse or shift of sine, and then 8 divided by 12. That should give me 41.8. Okay, so the measurement of angle A should be 41.8 degrees. Okay, see if you be able to find the angle measurement. For this question, they ask you, suppose you are waiting at the line for a ride. You use your friend at the top of the ride, which is 50 degrees. There are two things you need to find out. Three things, okay? This is what we call angle of elevation. Elevation is when you look up, okay? This is angle of depression. Okay, angle elevation of depression is going to be exactly the same thing. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one you're looking at. Angle, this is line of sight, meaning this is where you look at. Okay, they said the height of the ride is 150 feet. They ask you how far are from you to the base of the ride. How far from you from here to there? What you have here is the you focus on this angle. So I'm looking at adjacent and opposite. So it's going to be opposite over the adjacent. So I'm looking at tangent. Okay, tangent of 50 degree, it should be 150 over x, tangent 50. Okay, I'm going to multiply x, okay, x equal tangent 50, and then I divide them by tangent 50. Okay, that should give me x should be 150 divided by tangent 50. It should give me round to the nearest whole number. I'm gonna see if it's 126 feet. Okay, try working on your homework. If you have questions, please let me know.